get started with the pledge of allegiance. You can do it twice. You're asking big job. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming to this Allerton School Board meeting. The date is February 10th, 2026, at 6:32 p.m. If you wish to speak on an agenda item, please wait for an invitation from the board chair during the discussion. For comments on other school district matters, you may speak during this designated public comment period. Before speaking, state your name and keep remarks brief. Respectful conduct is expected at all times, and the chair may interrupt or end comments that are too long, off topic, inappropriate, or violate privacy rights. This is a school board meeting held in a public setting. Thank you for your cooperation in keeping it professional and on track. This evening, we have not done this in the past, but we will have a timer. So when you do stand up, please state your name, because the camera has no idea who you are when you're behind it. And I will set the timer and it should go off. Second item is to review and adopt the agenda.
Motion that we adopt the agenda as written.
Second. Having a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that passes. Line item number 3 is public comment. The next agenda item is public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to share brief comments of no more than 3 minutes on matters not listed on the agenda. Legal issues and complaints should follow the grievance process outlined in policy 1700. The board will not respond to comments during the meeting, as its role is to listen and consider public input rather than engage in discussion. Do we have any public comment this evening?
I just have a question. Cass Brunson, I remember at the last meeting you guys tabled 3 policies, and on here it shows that it's tabled. But my understanding was that was to be addressed tonight, and it's not on the agenda. Is there a date for it to be addressed?
Yeah, it'll be the next board meeting. Since we don't have all 5 here, we wanted to wait since there were some topics on there to make sure all 5 board members were here. So it will be April. Yep. No, March, sorry. And that is March 10th, I think, is the same date.
Is there any other?
My name's Gary Gagliardi. I wanted to talk about community engagement and how I feel like community engagement is very important for the school, especially a school that has struggled with enrollment and community engagement. I think it's kind of paramount. That being said, if 60 people signed a letter and brought it to the school board, that's a lot of potential engagement that you could engage these people and talk to them. Or you could not, and then you let those 60 people walk away feeling like the school doesn't care what their opinion is, like the school doesn't want to talk about options. And I think that's kind of sad because there's big opportunity there, but like when responses are like, we figured it out, we don't worry about it, we figured it out. So I don't even understand what that means. Like you figure out they can ignore it. Obviously you could ignore it the whole time, right? And if that's what you choose to do, that's fine, but you don't get the engagement. If you said to those 6 people, okay, well we don't agree with your opinion, but there's 60 of you, maybe this is important, maybe we should put it on an agenda item and have a discussion, then those people would come, and you would have your opportunity to tell them why you think it's a bad idea. You would get to state your side of the whole thing. They could tell you what they think. You have public discourse. Public discourse is very important. Or you can completely ignore those people and let them walk away. And then you can have a discussion as ostensibly about like silencing critics or something, which doesn't even make sense. Completely lose all the momentum that you could have potentially gotten from those people. You think like people who come to the school meeting with a little baby are going to send them to a school where they like the school does not care about their opinion, does not want to talk about the things that they're interested in, and just going to dismiss them as, oh, we already figured it out. I think that's a problem, and I think that the board should look at how they engage with the community if they want to get enrollment up.
Thank you, Gary. Anyone else? And you still have 58 seconds if you have anything else.
about all the changes that you wanted to happen here, and we started thinking about what the next few years are gonna look like. You hired a strategic planner, and we got our literacy grant, and we made changes in administration, and all of this is for the goal to improve Alberton throughout the next few years. And all of this has started, right? The processes have started. I'm from a small town, so I grew up in a small town and I know how they work. And I know that sometimes things are shared with community members without having information to back it, or they don't understand the information that's coming to them. So I just want to put forth that all these changes that we're making are uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. And since these processes have all started, we know that some people are feeling uncomfortable with what's happening around here, right? Like, we're having to make changes, the reflection periods for everybody are starting, right? And we're having to work on things, and that was the whole purpose of having the grant and having consultants come in. So I just wanted to put out there that good things are happening, and we're all having to reflect on what we're currently doing, what we've done in the past, and how we're gonna move forward. And it's a change, and that's, again, uncomfortable for some people. So just wanted to put that out there, that this is what we voted for, and I hope that we can see it through. It's gonna be years of work, right? So, I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you very much. Any else?
I have a question, because the camera can't see again. Gadia Brunson. And Amanda, this may not be the moment to respond to this question, and if it's not because it's part of your other stuff, I understand that. But in last meeting, you made the comment that the facility maintenance is going to be over budget this year. Do we have any idea how much over budget and where that's gonna come from? And from a spectator standpoint, it felt like it was kind of glossed over, so I didn't fully understand why it's going to be over budget. I understand that there's a lot of stuff from the audit that was done that shows repairs for stage, phase 1, phase 2, that sort of thing. But my understanding was that is a separate situation than the facilities maintenance budget being over budget this year.
And I can answer some of that if you want me to go ahead, just off the top of my head, and then we can do a bigger dive for you. What we came into this year is with our general fund facilities budget is what we're talking about. And we're just talking about our custodial staff. We're talking about all of the supplies that we have to buy, paper towels, toilet paper, those kinds of things. And then a number of things that need to be fixed. So our supplies were not bought last spring for this school year like they normally are, for one reason or another because of the changeover. So we had to double up on our supplies. That was part of it that we had to do. We have things like our locker rooms, for example. There were some broken windows in there. We just had the glass guy come in and repair all of those windows, put new windows in and repair what needed to be done. The elevator over here ended up being about $6,000 that we didn't have listed in our budget, but the state came in and realized that it wasn't up to code for one reason or another, so we had to add that in there as well. And then Matt and Steve just have started doing a lot of small upgrades here and there around the building for teachers. We had an elementary classroom, for example, that needed some pipes covered and those kinds of things. We had some bathrooms that needed some handrails, like ADA handrails, so we've had to buy those things. So there are just some small things that weren't listed at the beginning of the year that we're going to cover, and so they're going to be taken care of. It's not going to be a yearly thing. This will all be out of our general fund because there was a little bit of extra money in our general fund that we had hoped to put into the interlocal. And so the interlocal fund, it's not going to cost us anything. The interlocal is kind of the savings account that we're looking at for the music position and those kinds of things. So it's all within the general fund. It's not going to throw our budget off anywhere, if that makes sense.
Anything else, Cash? You got 2 minutes left of your question. You want to use it all? Okay.
No?
All right. Anybody else?
Hi, my name is Molly Davidson, and I don't have anything prepared Characters Day, just wanted to formally introduce myself to the board and the community. My husband Michael and I live off of Southside Road. Our daughter Gracie goes to school here. Michael invites the kids out to the farm every year. They take a bus and they engage with agriculture. And he used volunteer time to come to the school to read to third graders last year. I volunteer my time working on the grants committee with the peak that formed after some budgetary concerns earlier. And I've been in Montana. I've been in Montana for 30 years. And with my employer, I just celebrated my 25th year anniversary. I manage our natural resources department at a 400-person engineering firm and oversee massive construction projects. I used to be the board president for Big Brothers Big Sisters. I was a big sister before then, and before then I was a little sister. I put myself through engineering school, and I understand what it's like to roll up your sleeves and work hard. Some of my core values are strategic and being futuristic, so seeing what the potential of something could be. And one of my core values is community. And should I get a board position with you on the board and then other members of the community, regardless of who it is, I'm committed to finding common ground and working together to make this a better place. So I just wanted to offer that input from about myself.
Thank you very much. Last alibi? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Okay. We're now on to approve the minutes from the January 12th, 2026.
I move we approve the minutes as written.
Having a first and a second to approve the January 12th minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is approval of claims and warrants.
Oh,
We have it in two different formats. Should you not plug it? You have it sideways.
Yeah, Nicole was just going through that with me.
Oh, I will mention that the reason there's such a large gap in the checks, why it skips like 3,000, I do not like that we used to condense the check numbers. I don't find that that's very fiscally responsible, especially if you get audited 5 years from now and someone doesn't know that that's what you did. So I'm writing out the full check numbers on it going forward. So that's why there's that huge leap.
Thank you. What did we contractually for Charles Morris?
Charles Morris was hired by Clay for transportation to view the red truck and get it up and running so that we can look at selling it or using it. So now it's roadworthy.
Okay. And this payment to Frenchtown is for our
Out of district.
okay.
Is that for the whole year, or is that?
That's half.
That's for half a year?
Mhm.
Okay.
For those that are in the audience, it's $29,265.37 that we are paying for half of the year. So we'll see what's there. And the target range,
Also, tuition check.
the one for business, the business group, that's for out of this district.
Sorry, which one?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the bottom.
Target range?
Target range elementary.
Yeah.
business group.
Yeah,
Just one student?
yeah, just one. we're doing better than I anticipated, honestly, so that's good, especially playing catch up with certain things and having, you know, just the W-2s and,
Yeah.
but we're doing good.
That Montana literacy grant is helping, like, I think, you know, having, able to buy things for the teachers that they need, supplementary things that normally they wouldn't get also. But then it covers some of the things that we would normally buy out of the general fund, which is very helpful for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
The big curriculum bill, for example, that $12,000 one was an intervention that normally would come out of the general fund, but we can do that with that literacy grant instead.
I motion that we approve claims number 19308 through 3119369 for $105,596.67. Payroll plus direct deposit of $177,459.66.
Having a first and a second, to approve claims and warrants, claims number 19308 through 3119369, in the amount of $105,596.67, and payroll plus direct deposits in the amount of $177,459.66. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Can I ask a clarification question on that? On the breakdown, the money to Frenchtown, is that correct that it shows that it's for the first half of 24 to 25 fiscal year?
Yes.
I'll ask you later why I get to pay so much later.
That's how the state breaks it up. The
Okay.
state breaks it up that you pay half of it in January and half of it in June for the school year.
But I guess my concern would be we're in like 25, 26, so we're a year behind.
That's how the state has it run, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is last year's,
Okay.
yeah.
I believe we got a reprieve from paying for the first year. This is the first year we're actually
Paid, yes.
Okay. Reports. Administrator report from Superintendent Seer.
Facilities things, just a couple, to give you guys a heads up. As I said, we got the new glass in the locker rooms and the gym area. So there were a couple holes and there were a couple issues in there, so that's all taken care of in our locker rooms, which is amazing. Air quality sensors, Josie got these from DEQ. The University of Montana is running a survey right now. And so we got an indoor and an outdoor sensor. The indoor one is right here for air quality, and there's a link that we can check. And so when we have smoky days, for example, or smoke or air quality issues, we can use that sensor directly here instead of Frenchtown's where we had to look before. So we will actually be in the Alberton school districts, and like I said, it was free for both of them, so we'll be able to keep track of that. And then it goes toward their research study that they're doing at the University of Montana. And then that gym leak that we've had at basketball games, for those of you that have been there, that will be fixed finally on Friday, and so we should be good to go with no more water dropping there. And that was a coupler piece that Comfort Solutions will come out and have it all taken care of for us, that we've been working with the last couple of months. And the last one is that priorities, the meeting for the priorities. When we look at McKinstry's review there, we'll talk a little bit more at the Montana Preservation Grant about the priorities, how the elementary is going to be taken care of. But I'm hoping during my evaluation in March that we could talk a little bit about the high school ones and what our priorities are. Obviously, it's broken down in 1 and 2, but I would like us to really look at it and say, hey, we can do this in-house, but where are we going to find the money for this? And what can we put off for a little bit while we're looking through things? So if you guys are open to that, we'll just put that on the March discussion right before my evaluation. The Montana Preservation Grant Committee, I'm not going to talk about that since it's an agenda item, and Molly and I will do a little presentation on where we're at with that grant. The budget, we are all clear with our insurance company. They had made a snafu with our health insurance. It was all on them, but as of today, everything is back up and normal and everybody has their insurance. It was a little scary for a week, but it was their mistake. And so we've got that taken care of.
3 days.
And March, we should have our preliminary budget for 26-27. So I'm hoping that we will have that and start those discussions at the March board meeting. If not, then it'll be April. We can start looking at what our general fund is going to look like for next year and what our priorities are there. E-grant drawdowns for all of our grants, the Montana Reads grant, MTSS grant. Chelsea's got that. She's working through and how we're going to make sure that we're on top of those grant priorities there. So that's just an easy thing with OPI that we'll take care of. We're looking for one more paraprofessional, as I had said last month, because we have a new student here that Katie is working with, and so we interviewed. Katie Soares and I did 2 different applicants, and I'm calling references right now, so hopefully we'll be able to get that paraprofessional hired to help out over here at the elementary. And Steve Culp resigned at the beginning of February, so we have students that are filling in right now to help Matt and our other students at the high school. But we're thinking it would probably be Tam Dow, who worked with us this summer after basketball season's over. He will finish the school year doing the night custodian piece for us here at the elementary, since he's already done that before. But it's out there, and we've had a couple of people interested, but nobody actually filled out an application yet. So Tam is very interested in that, and he's a great worker. They're telling us our comprehensive schools report will come out in April. They don't have much more information for me on that, but we will have some information on where we're sitting for our middle school and our high school sometime in April. Strategic planning, our SMART goal progress is working with our teacher, all of our 4 committees. They have put some quality time in looking at our objectives and our goals for the technology piece, for the family engagement piece, for the curriculum piece, and the student connection engagement piece. Those 4 committees have met a couple of times. They're breaking things down to start the work on that strategic plan to get our goals set and ready for next year by May to you guys. So I appreciate all the work that they're putting in there to help out with that, and really looking at where are we at right now and what do we want out of technology. So it's been some really great discussions with staff across the board there. And technology, we just found out, I should let Josie shout this out, the Amazon grant that Josie got for us in the fall. In the fall, teachers have been doing some AI professional development, and we've gotten a few small things. They've gotten gift cards for doing that AI and doing the surveys. They just announced that they would like to bring 150 repurposed laptops to Alberton for us to keep for free. And so they are going to be here the end of February to meet with Josie and I.
Well, yeah, they're gonna come meet with us, but we'll have the computers in May.
Yes, so they're gonna meet with us and talk about them. They also wanna talk about our technology needs, and so as we're looking at more connectivity and different things happening, they're willing to help us work through that too. And again, these are free things that they're bringing our way, this Amazon grant. They're really trying to work with Montana, or not just Montana, but rural schools across the nation. And so we applaud Josie for getting that started for us, as today we came up 2 Chromebook shorts for students, so we're excited to get some new ones. I know it's not till later, but we're moving in the right direction with our technology. Anything more on that?
No, we'll keep getting more information as they go, but they are very excited to partner with rural schools. I've been with their program for, this is my 2nd year now, and so they're very happy to be coming out here and seeing the issues that we face as a community when it comes to connectivity, and they are all in about really trying to help schools, not just us, but schools that are in the same circumstances that we are.
The AI trainings, we've been paying the teachers to do those out of our grant funds, just if they're doing those outside of time, and then they get a gift card as well. But our paraprofessionals, I just wanted to tell you this, we're very excited about doing the AI training as well. And numerous paras have come and said, oh my gosh, I'm doing my lesson planning, and just very excited about the opportunities there too. So I appreciate Josie bringing that to them. And then they're using it in the classroom, and more discussions with our kids also about using AI, because there are some great things you can use AI for as long as it's being used appropriately. So teaching them those quality ways to do that. And again, the technology plan, we're working on that with our technology committee that will go along with our strategic plan and the goals there for technology and moving forward here at Alberton. Our consultants for our Montana Reads grant were here for 3 days. We have a consultant that's working mostly with our middle high school and a consultant working mostly with our elementary, just for literacy across contents in the older grades, and it was a great 3 days. They were in every single classroom, they met with all of our teachers, some great feedback, some great next steps, and so we're really excited about the 2 consultants that we have that are going to be working with us, and we're already planning for next year, and the professional development that we're going to do on the science of reading, and being here to help set some goals for literacy for us. So it was a great couple of days. We're excited to have Kim and Jocelyn in our quarter. And our CNA results, I just wanted to point these out as well. Our CNA, that comprehensive needs assessment that we must take with the comprehensive schools. Last year we had 36 staff, parents, board take it, and kids. Overall, 36 is all we had. And this year we had 132 responses. So a lot better data this year on what's working, what's not working, and then helping us set some goals for moving forward with that. So a couple of the lower scores, which is what you want, because that's how you're going to set your goals as to what the community's asking for. Lower scores, adequate facilities, adequate fiscal responses or resources, technology systems in place was our staff's top 3, that we're still working on, and those are all things that we're talking about every board meeting. So that post-graduation, again, our CTE, we're really looking at how we can support our kids post-graduation. Nathan and Kara and I are meeting regularly with OPI and with the Labor and Department of Labor and Industry on how we can bring more CTE in and give more opportunities to our kids. So we're excited about some of those different pathways that we're going to be adding on for our kids. And then of course that career fair that we're doing in May for them to look at all the different opportunities. And that's not just high school. Kids K-12 will be able to walk through that career fair and start having some of those conversations. So that's something that we're really working on. And then our quality after school programs was another one that was rated low since we don't have one yet, but it is a priority of the literacy grant, and we were hoping to get something started this year, but there's so many things happening this year that realistically it will most likely be in the fall. But I have paras that are interested in it. I have students that are asking if they can volunteer and work in the after school program just to get some community service and support also. So I'm excited about some tutoring and things that they can do. So that will most likely be a 26-27, but I'd rather start it in the fall where we have everything ready to go instead of trying to piece some things together this spring. And then Indian Ed for All training, there's a conference that teachers are able to go to if they want to. There's some online training that teachers can do as well that they'll be paid through our Indian Ed for All funds, and then some Indian Ed for All supplies. So they're all things that we're already working on, but it's some good conversations to have. And the home language survey was something that we did not have in our enrollment packet. And that's one of the questions we're supposed to ask all families when they come in is English your first language. And then there's a couple of different questions that go along with that so we can support ELL students, for example. So we've added that to our enrollment packet, and we also sent it out to all of our families so we can get it into every kid's cumulative file to make sure that we're quota with the state on that. So, and then the last thing, just a couple of things that I wanted to touch base with you guys on is looking, I know we're having conversations about trying to bring music back. I have someone interested in possibly halftime. And I'm wondering if that would be a start, and then it would be able to ease us back in budget-wise also with our general fund. And so had a couple of conversations with this gentleman. He's in St. Regis, and he'll be halftime in St. Regis, and interested in maybe looking at our schedule also if we can put it into our funds. So it's a priority, I know, of you guys, and a priority of mine to get some music back in here. And the Friday program, it keeps growing. We keep adding more kids, so that's a great thing to see as well. So just want you guys to be aware that that's a conversation we're having, and really not a lot we can do until we get that April budget, March budget, and see really where we're at. But I want to start having conversations out there that we're looking and see if we can find a quality music person. Again, even if it's halftime for this first year to get started. February is I Love to Read month. I'm glad Carrie's here. Carrie has put in all the work for our I Love to Read month and lots of activities for our kids, for our staff that I really appreciate her doing. We're doing dress-up days on Thursdays for the kids, trivia for the staff. We are doing morning announcements. Kids are on morning announcements every day. It's so fun to hear them in there reading and talking about a book that they love that you should read. So picking different kids that she's getting that all organized also, and then prizes for bingo for the kids and different activities in the classroom. Danny Hanley was working with us a little bit on that also, and the theme, stars,
Reading under the stars.
reading under the stars. So the last day of the month, we're planning on a kind of blackout in the gym during specials time for the elementary with these little star flashlights, and we're gonna have some different guest readers in there and some different activities for them. We are also going to take all elementary kids to the University of Montana, February 23rd, and we're going to hit the planetarium as part of this Reading Under the Stars. We're going to hit the art museum there on campus, and the third tour is the U of M athletic tour that they do. So they get down on the football field, they get to go through the Hall of Fame, and so the kids will rotate through these 3 tours on February 23rd. So we're really excited about that opportunity for the kiddos to see that. So I think it's been a great month so far. Anything else that I missed on that?
Also, like at the same time, they're doing Read to Ride, so the elementary school kids have a lot of opportunity to read during this month. We love it. And then we're taking pictures of all the staff with their favorite books, so the kids can see the pictures of their teachers and be like, I want to read that book.
Drop everything and read. We're doing we're doing that once a week too, and wandering around to the classroom to make sure staff and kids are all reading, and then talking about books and those kinds of things. And there's prizes for kids for doing some of the different activities. And then May 19th, we have Science on Wheels coming. It's an assembly for all classes that will wander through. They'll be here for a whole day in the gym, and each class will have about 45 minutes in there to work on different science activities, a lot of STEM activities for them. And then there's a family night that goes along with that. And so all of that will still be set up in the gym. We'll have dinner in here for the community. And so great opportunity for the kids. May 19th is when that is. And then our journalism club started this week. Evelyn has 9 kids on the roster. Evelyn and Jen Forget's also helping, but we have 9 kids on the roster. They started looking at the framework for the newsletter that they're going to send out monthly, and we're thinking about different names that they were going to do, and started creating a list of who they want to interview, what they think should be in there. And so we're excited. I don't know how soon it'll be out, but I'm hoping within the month, and so we'll get that out to the community. And that's something that we're going to share with everybody in the community. We'll actually mail that out so everybody gets a copy of it. So those are my 4 big exciting things for our kids. Any questions on all of that?
I do. Science club. Did that start with his Becker?
Yes.
There was a science fair already.
There.
That we went to.
So.
We judged it.
We
Yes,
hosted
there was a science fair.
Okay.
And they judged. And so they'll get to go and compete in Missoula.
So
We had a couple of girls, so yes, and the horticulture class is actually starting a garden, not a garden, like more of a flower area around the front of the high school, kind of cleaning that up, and going to, Nathan is gonna have his class help make some garden boxes, and so just a combo with both of those. That's through the horticulture and the science club as well. And we have a number of kids that are going to go to Yellowstone this summer for an ecology, a 5 days ecology course at Yellowstone National Park, that they're going to do. 3 8th graders are going to go do that. So that all kind of started within the science club as well. So some different opportunities with our science club.
Montana Learning Center at Canyon Ferry does a lot of that as well. There's like 5 or 6 camps this summer, and there are some for middle schoolers and elementary, but it's predominantly high schoolers. They like canoe Missouri for 7 days. I mean, there's a 5 to 7 day camping trip in ecology in Yellowstone that is along those lines there. They also do the traveling planetarium, but unfortunately we do not have 200 elementary students. So
We looked at that.
excellent. And then the music program is expanding with Mr. Navalny.
Yep, there are just a few more kids, and he's talking about, he's added a couple of homeschool kids and a couple of kids from in the building to the group. So I think I want to say just over 35 right in there would be our numbers of kids that are participating in that.
Quite a number of
Yeah, so, and there's 3 different groups. He's planning in May to do some kind of a show for parents for those kids.
Excellent. I would love to keep him in the long term as long as he's willing to come out and maybe add part-time.
Yeah.
It's over and above inflation.
Right.
My next question falls to you. Is Book It still a thing?
It is a thing, but like the individual teachers have to do it.
Okay.
So like when I do some good reach ride, I can administer the program myself.
But it would have to be up to the individual classroom teachers to sign up for that. Like if they won't let one
Free
teacher.
personal pan pizzas?
I have 5 members. I'm sure the Jones here have 5 members. Okay.
Right.
Big old pizza.
But one exciting thing that we forgot to say was we just did the
sorry.
Battle of the Books district competition, and we have our teams that are going for 3rd and 4th grade and 5th and 6th grade. So that's happening March 2nd in Missoula.
I did forget 2 things on here. Parent classes are, Amanda's going to be starting those. Johansson, and we're looking at putting together, some families and doing some parent classes. And then it'll be a family event. We'll feed them dinner and then have some childcare for the kids so the parents can actually engage in some conversations about how they can support their kids. And I'd like you to just throw a couple of things out there that will be on the agenda, maybe.
Sure. So Dr. Becky Goodinside, it's really about how we as parents can have compassion for ourselves, understand our kids' nervous systems and our own in a way where we're not as judgmental when we all have the moments that we're not proud of. And so in that way we can connect with our kids a little bit better and really bridge the connection between what we're trying to do and implement here at school with our kids and what happens at home. So it feels more supportive and well-rounded for all of us.
Thank you.
So in the next few weeks, hopefully that'll be happening. And then the last thing I had that I just added onto the bottom is we have 5 people that are going for the 2 board positions. So since there are more than 2, we would like to do a questionnaire to all 5 of them and then post it on our Facebook and out on our, on the website as well. We used to do that at the last district I was at, and it just gives the community, you know, see the names and the faces and what they stand for and those kinds of things. So I gave you guys some sample questions right in front of you. There's just 5 of them that I will send out to all 5 of the candidates, and then they fill those out, and then we'll just post it if they want to add a picture to go with the name on the website so the community can see all 5 candidates and all the great things they stand for.
To those that are present, good luck. Anything else?
Nope. Are you guys good with that? And just look at those questions. They're basic questions that I had a little AI help with actually, and we had a list already, so we kind of melded those 2 questions together. And they're just some basic questions so people know.
It's voluntary.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
They seem on par for the questions that I was asked when I was interviewed to fill a bank board position 3-4 years ago. So, however long it's been. So,
I gave you the sheet somewhere, it's this one. So if you guys want to look at that, and I'll wait a couple of days, and if I hear anything from you guys about changing up any of the questions, let me know. And then I will send them out to all 5 candidates. Chelsea has their contact information.
okay.
And then now I really am done.
The athletic and activities director, the one we all.
Yep. So our junior high basketball boys program has finished their season and they went 500 on their season, so they were pretty excited and they got their final win at home here in the Panther Den, so that was pretty awesome to watch them be excited all season. We did have a couple of homeschool kids also join us through the entire season, so that was great to get them that experience and wanting to be part of the community there as well. Varsity programs, we have our last home stand this weekend, or this week, Thursday and Friday. Our boys host JV Superior on Thursday at 5 o'clock, followed by Mullins Varsity at 6:30. And then senior night with Little Dribblers is Friday versus Charlo. JV boys start at 4 o'clock, varsity girls are at 5:30, varsity boys are at 7. In between the half times of both JV and varsity girls, we'll be doing Little Dribblers. So they'll be showcased there, and then before the varsity boys game, our seniors will be honored at that game as well. And then next week they head into district, so our girls have clinched 6th place going into district, so that shows where they'll play out to see where they can go in, but they will both have games Thursday, and so they will be headed out around 11 a.m. next Thursday to Polson, and they will be there for their first round games, and then they'll have second round games on Friday, and how they play in those 2 rounds will determine if they head back on Saturday. So if you don't understand district brackets, now that we are no longer the super district, 14C now has, every team gets at least 2 games. So if you lose 2 games, you're out. play until you've lost 2 games. Top 3 of both boys and girls go on to divisional. So that's how it plays out, and you can watch that on NFHS if you don't want to travel all the way to Polson. I will be at Polson the entire time. So if you need anything, you can always reach out there as well. Our FTC robotics teams went to Bozeman this past weekend for their state championship. The Panther Robotics finished 23rd in the state, and our analysis paralysis managed to make it to the Alliance round, finishing in the top 6 and coming in 2nd in the Reach Award. Coach Morris and Coach Manson are excited for the momentum that this continues to build, and we're also already headed right into Skills USA. Mr. Morris had a meeting about that today, and there are quite a few more kids seemingly excited about all the different competitions they can do there, as well as the Urban Search and Rescue Robotics season. So we just roll right into the next one with that as well. So there's a lot of opportunities out there for our students to get involved there. And then up next, spring sports are right around the corner. So varsity track and tennis start Monday, March 16th. Schedules are currently being finalized right now, waiting to find out which schools are hosting track meets and then reaching out. Tennis is hard. There's not as many schools around us that have tennis, so trying to find some more meets for our girls there as well. And then junior high track, you'll see Sammy on the list today to get hired for that position, but that will start near the end of March or early April, also depending on meet availability. But we're working with Frenchtown a lot for that, hoping to go to mainly Frenchtown meets there. They host a lot of the Copper League meets, and if we can join the Copper League for those, it's really nice for our parents to just have to go to Frenchtown for junior high meets, as well as for us traveling there to get to compete there. So that's what's going on.
I have a question for you.
Yeah. Nicole raised her hand on it.
Is that fundraiser still going on that I saw?
Yes, so there is the pie and cake fundraiser.
Just was gonna mention it. I said to bring the
So
jar.
there are jars with my picture, Miss Sears' picture, and the 4 basketball coaches right now, and we will be doing an assembly on the 18th.
at 2 p.m.
To see who has raised the most money for the athletics fund, and that person will get 1 or multiple pies in their face. You can donate there if you choose to. It's in the foyer of the school during the day, and then this week, this Thursday and Friday, I'll be over in the corner at the basketball game if people choose to donate to that, and all of that money goes right back to the athletics fund. Also, Friday, it's sponsored by the PTSA, so no one has to pay for entrance for Friday's game, so thank you. But we will also have donations out there as well to also raise money for the athletics fund, to help cover things that we don't always get to use our budgetary things for, such as new warm-ups, uniforms, and things like that, to make sure our kids are out there representing us well. Now your question, Pat.
So, can you help me understand the MHSA regulations for, we don't have enough kids to go around, we don't cut anybody. We've never cut anybody for talent, et cetera.
Correct.
That might not be the case, east or west of us, but if there are kids there, do they have to not offer a sport to extend those opportunities for kids that may have been cut in a different district due to talent or other reasons?
They do not have to offer anything else. If you are cut, you're cut.
Well,
Is that what you mean?
can we give the option to play here?
They would have to come and attend our school to play here. So MHSA, you have what are called the transfer rules in MHSA. Therefore, as a freshman, you can transfer anywhere and there's no penalty. Okay, it's a one-time transfer deal. So if there's a kid living in anywhere east or west of us and they're like, hey, we know we can make Alberton's team and we want to be part of a team, they can come and there's nothing we have to do with MHSA. As soon as they're a sophomore, if they are moving from, they would have to do transfer rules to come into this district. Or follow another rule that we have to file with MHSA to allow them to play here. And MHSA then has to approve that. And that's to eliminate recruiting. And that's the whole basis of it, that I can't go around as an AD and try to be like, ooh, I really want that kid. How can I convince them to come here with NIL money or whatever it may be? We don't have the right to do that, and that's why there's those rules with MHSA. If you are a homeschool kid, once you become of age to fall under those MHSA rules, you may only attend the school that you live within that district of. So So if you are homeschooled in east or west of us, outside of district, you cannot play for us anymore. Right now, we offer, our borders are open, I guess if that's the correct terminology, east or west of us. We have allowed anyone that's, because our junior high sports are not under MHSA.
Okay.
So we've allowed anyone that says, hey, you wanna come play soccer, come play basketball for us, track for us, you are all welcome, please come. Once they hit the age that it becomes a varsity sport and they follow MHSA rules, we cannot allow anyone that does not live within Alberton District that is homeschooled to play within they have to play here or they can't play anywhere else. So if you're currently living in Frenchtown, Superior, Regis, anywhere, and you're homeschooled, you can't, once you're in high school, can no longer come play here. Does that make sense?
Yes, third. No, I just think that's a shame that that's not there, because my understanding is they cut 40.
They do cut quite
They
a
cut
few.
48
I
girls for
know
volleyball.
2 years ago, they had over 50 kids try out for their volleyball team. And they kept under 30 kids of those that got to play the sport that they loved.
And it's my understanding that in protest, they did not even try out for basketball.
Quite a few of them, correct. So, I mean, that is things that we can look at. We've tried to look at, like, how can we convince them to come here and play? You know, that is a right that they have. They would just have to follow the actual transfer rules
Come here
with
and be
MHSA.
be a varsity superstar.
Yeah?
All right, thank you for that.
Yep.
Who will provide the MTSS report? I do not see this lecture.
That would be me.
Okay.
Again, that assembly, that we were just talking about, 2 p.m. on the 18th is open to anybody in the community. And I'm not sure why she was saying 1 or 2 pies, because what I was told is it's at least 5 pies.
I was
because
trying
one
to
for each
figure
class
this out.
gets to put a pie in the face. And so it's based on who gets the most money in their jar. And then the kids from junior high through high school, each class gets to pick a person to put a pie in the face. So we are also going to do a little celebration for our high school teams, and we've bought just some little goodie bags for them to go for districts, just to kind of give them a little cheers and good luck over there. So that will also be part of that assembly, not just the pie in the face, but I'm sure it will be entertaining if anybody wants to join us. MTSS, I think it's great to see our systems, so many of them kind of melding together. Our MTSS grant is a $5,000 grant that we give each year, just working on our tiered systems of support for all kids. And so they've been doing that. This is the 3rd year in Alberton. And we are melding our MTSS team with our Montana Reach Grant team and really digging into interventions. The Montana Reach Grant can pay for some of these supplemental curriculums that we use for interventions that we're finding through our MTSS grant. So it's nice to put those together. But what what Rachel put in here was that there are modules that they have to do. So they're on module 9 right now, and I think there are 12 of them, and we're now looking at tier 2 instruction. Tier 2 instruction is Danny Hanley, who we hired to do interventions, and then we've got a couple of paras also. So again, it kind of ties together, and we're doing some of those, but delving in even deeper. How do we support our kids that are just a little bit below grade level and need a little bit extra support? So they're being pulled out for small groups. We're getting some different curriculums and those kinds of things for them. So that training is this month that we're working through. And so that's the continuing training with OPI and through the literacy grant. And then the third one, the Summer Institute in Bozeman is held every year, and it is MTSS themed, but it's working on instruction, it's working on social emotional, behavioral. Teachers can go to that and learn all sorts of different things, and it's a 5-day on campus there in Bozeman. And so our MTSS team will go, and then we will also send some of our Montana Reads Grant people there as well, because they are part of the conference as well. And we just opened it up to teachers to see if any teachers are not on those teams but are interested in going and getting some extra professional development this summer, and that'll be paid out of Montana Reads Grant. So that's what she's talking about there, June 15th through 19th. So I think we have 5 right now, 4 or 5 as of right now, and we just open it up to the rest of the staff. So it's great that their summertime, they're wanting to put in the work.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, agenda item 7, discussion action. First is to approve Michelle Mattson teacher for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year.
And Michelle is actually here with us tonight, just to say hello to everybody, so she will actually, go ahead, Michelle Matson.
Yeah, my name is Michelle Matson. I'm coming from NCPS. I'm currently at Para with their early learning program. Before this, I worked in behavior interventions, and then I did some after-school academic interventions before that as well. Super excited to be joining the team. I've been shadowing a little bit. I've been out here a couple times, and yeah, really excited. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
So we're excited to welcome Michelle, and then Alicia will move full-time into the instructional coaching position that's got some technology. She's already doing a lot of technology for us, but that'll be part of her role instead of during class time too. So we're excited about that. She's gonna stay and help Michelle for a couple weeks and move that transition for the kids. We've already reached out to families, and so excited to help them. Welcome Michelle here. Hopefully.
I motion to approve Michelle Matson as a third grade teacher for the remainder of the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Having a first and second to approve Michelle Matson as the third grade teacher for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Welcome to the district.
Welcome Michelle.
The next item is to approve our current fifth grade teacher, Sammy Stewart, as co-coach for junior high track for spring of 2026.
I move we approve Sammy Stewart as co-coach junior high track spring 2026.
Second.
All right, having a first and second to approve Sammy Stewart as the co-coach for the junior high track for spring 2026. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Very glad that we found Sammy.
She's doing a great job in sixth grade. She helped with Lego League also this year with our younger kids, and now Alicia with the new position is like, I can't do all of the things, and so we need a new track coach, and she's like, sign me up.
She's magic. with
Yes.
those kids. All right, next line item is to approve Aurora Seidel as the substitute in the kitchen. And I believe she is.
She does winter concessions already with Connie, and then they own that bakery in Superior, so she's very knowledgeable.
I love it. All right.
I motion to approve Aurora Seidel, is that how you say it, Seidel?
Yes.
As a substitute in the kitchen.
Second.
Having a first and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the transportation contract for student CS for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year.
This is a new student that has moved into our district. We talked briefly last month about he has a wheelchair, and parents are willing to take him back and forth to school for us since they have a wheelchair accessible vehicle, and so we don't have to go out and get one of those. And so then what we do is we do a transportation contract between us and the parents, and so we'll pay the mileage. They live very close, but we pay the mileage for that for their round trips since they're willing to do that for us. So we just need that approved by you guys.
I move we approve the transportation contract for student CS for remainder of 2025-26 school year.
I second it.
Having a first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Next, the discussion item, the Montana Historical Preservation Grant Review. I believe we're having a presentation from,
Do I
do you
get
need a
to our
PowerPoint or
second?
anything?
What's that?
Is it PowerPoint or just?
It's not a,
Okay.
no, may I use this
By
one?
all means.
I'm Molly Davidson. I'm on the PEAK Grant Committee that was formed earlier, was it last year, I guess? I'm losing track of time. But we've been active. There's a group of people in the community that are volunteering their time to seek grant opportunities and support the school. And on the committee, we have Hillary, Kathy, Gail, Pat has attended some meetings, and then Megan with the PEAK. who else am I forgetting? I think that's the primary group. And, I'm sorry?
And me.
And, yes, and then, and not, like, yes. And
I don't know, I guess I'm not a member, am I?
I don't know, I'm not sure, but Bandy's
Helping write it, yes.
She's been helping write it. So, we've been seeking grant opportunities and, identified a grant through the Department of Commerce from the state of Montana that is called the Montana Historic Preservation Grant. And, they're in a process of accepting applications. And so, we looked at, the potential use of the grant for the school. That included assessing the eligibility of the school, and the school being a district, a public school district is eligible. Other criteria is needing a historic designation, which the school is on the historic registry. And let me look at my notes here. The grant, several of us from the committee sat, including Mandy and myself, sat on the instructional webinar that the grant program provided and learned information, and then we've been collaborating on gathering information for the grant. And so the grant covers, basically the intent of the grant is to take historic structures that provide a benefit to the community, to education, and help bring them up to modernization. And so it can be a variety of things. It could be exterior improvements, it could be interior improvements. We were told this year that the grant informally have preference to projects that are related to HVAC, plumbing, electrical, windows, and exterior improvements. And good news, the school has all of those needs. For the grant, it's really it's helpful to have a report that details what the needs are, and this is just coming off of the heels of the facilities review. And so we have a report that is backed by an engineer McKinstry that identified needs. I think there was a presentation 2 or 3 board meetings ago that identified the needs for the elementary school and for the high school. The elementary school certainly considered historic, so we focused our grant needs there. And then the report had put the needs into 2 categories, like priority 1 improvements, which are recommended for projects that should be done, as soon as possible, and then the priority 2, which could be deferred. So in that report, the priority 1 projects, the total needs that are high priority added up to about $404,700. And it includes a whole variety of things, such as some cracks on the exterior of the building, foundation cracks, some EDA handrails and drinking fountains, plumbing. Big ticket item is the HVAC system. Could use an upgrade of about $250,000 of that total. Elementary electrical, windows, and plumbing. And so we called the agency, and they agreed that yes, this is exactly what this grant is for, these types of projects, and got concurrence. And so the grant itself funds up to $350,000, and it's called an 80-20 grant. So they provide 80% of it, so $350,000, and then the school comes up with the other 20%. The other 20% doesn't have to be all cash. In fact, you can account for part of that facilities plan that was just completed. A third of what you spend on that can be used towards your match, and so that reduces the cash needed up front. So, in other words, and also Peak Foundation donated $2,500. The grants rate better when you could show that it's just those external nonprofits that are supporting the project as well. And so when you add up all the bits and pieces, 350 come from the state, then the school needs to come up with $55,834 would be the requirement, and then the other part is the match you've already made plus the $2,500. The schedule, it's these types of grants. I'm not as familiar with this particular grant program, but in my line of work, I work with some parallel programs that are under the same House bill with the legislative session, House Bill 6. It goes in front of long-range planning committee. There's a whole process of testifying. So grants would be submitted February 28th of this year. and then they get reviewed, and then this time next year, somebody from the school would need to go to testify for 3 minutes in front of the legislators. It used to be optional, but now they actually will pull your grant if you don't show up, which is truth. I've seen it happen. Grant funding would be available. The legislative fiscal biennial process starts, I think, in July of 27, so you'd be able to procure a design, build type entity on August of 27, and then select that firm September of 27. These are approximate timelines. Finalize design October 27 through March of 28. Then start hiring subcontractors through that design build entity in April of 28 for construction, summer of 28, with project closeout right when the school year was starting. So that would give you, you would set up the grant award agreement for some time, and that gives you some flex on coming up with the matching funds. I believe the things that we have to address in the grants, real quick, are purpose and need of projects, what's the economic activity associated with it, shovel readiness, historic or heritage value, the capacity of the organization to administer a grant, and there's some solid history with the school and also Peak Foundation who can support in the background, local contribution, public benefit. They want to know the grant agency, the value of the school provides to the community, so we did reach out to several nonprofits who submitted letters of support in the way they interact with the school, including Mineral County Health Department, Alberton Senior Center, Senator Denley Logie, and Representative Curtis Cochran also wrote a letter of support. That's really important because the legislators write the grants, writing past the funding that the grant enters. Peak Foundation, along with their fiscal commitment. ACES, this one is PTSA, and it's a duplicate here, my apologies. And then the school board letter, it looks like, ACES, nonprofit. And there was different similar threads of just how different entities engage with the school building and find value in the historical future of the school being in this community. And so I think that is the overall summary. The grant is near completion, and there's been a lot of, the committee's been helping review and write it, and Mandy's got in there, reviewed it, and there's some touch-ups that we need to do, but yeah, the idea is to get it submitted here this month, and I think that the grant may require a board action item to
Make a motion to authorize you to apply.
Submit the grant.
Yes.
I move we authorize
Amanda Sears.
superintendent to submit this grant proposal.
And then first and second, to authorize Superintendent Van-Seer to apply for this historical preservation grant. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And I for me.
Thank you for all your efforts.
Yes, like that. And then, do you want to take any public comment on this?
Yeah, if there are any questions on the grant or any comments or anything there, we would love to hear those. Just kind of, like she said, we're all kind of working through it, doing different pieces, parts of it.
I do have a statement on it.
Yep.
After we had the Independence Street report come in for both the high school and the elementary school, it was ballparked, worst case scenario for both buildings, for everything that we needed to address, that it would be $2.2 million. Some of those items don't ever need to be. Like, 600,000 of that was to put extra joists under the gym floor because the building code is not the same now as it was, 70 years ago when the gym was built. So when you subtract that from the $2.2 million, this grant is taking care of a massive portion of that, and the snowball's going down the hill. We will find the money without going to the taxpayers to ask for a bond. It's on here. We are not going to go and look at raising taxes in between. I did a very non-scientific study. I took my house and what I pay, and then I looked for a house in Frenchtown School District that has the exact same value. Plus, I gave it $30,000 They pay the exact same taxes we do, but they have bond debt on them. That's the difference. We don't have any bond debt on there, and I'd like to continue that way. And I think that we will be able to do that with this. And success breeds success. And when you apply to other grants, they see, hey, this is something that we want to invest in, and I think that's where we're at. So thank you very much for your effort.
Oh, and just in case there were questions in the community about the money that we have to come up with, like Molly already said, out of our interlocal fund, we paid for the facilities review, so that's already all taken care of. So that $30,000 was done out of interlocal, not our general fund, kind of a savings account. And then the other part of that will come out of our building reserve fund, which is like a savings account toward building maintenance and repairs and those kinds of things that you can add on to each year. And we have more than enough to cover that from there. So there's nothing more that we need to pull at this time to cover our portion, which is a really good thing as well.
Yes. And if those of you that did not attend the meeting on the last one, there were no safety concerns over our building or facilities, which is important because if there were, well, we wouldn't be having this morning. So.
Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a question about something that in the past. So like, when we first started working at the school, which is like 5 years ago, they passed, like we got a grant or something to change the entryway of the high school, like it was approved by the board and everything, but then that never happened.
I am unaware of that. It was predated.
I was wondering like why.
Board, there
The
was.
only thing I remember from attending the board meetings is that they were planning on using the ESSER funds for that, and then they were used for other things, and so we no longer had the ESSER funds to do that project.
I don't know. Gary, would you know, you were, I think, on the board 5 years ago.
Years ago, no.
Okay.
During COVID times.
Maybe it was.
Either way, I'm not personally familiar with that, so I don't know. I agree that yes, it needs to be done, and it will be a project that will get done. I just don't know when. So,
The ESSER funds sounds familiar to me, because they had talked about what they were trying to change in the entryway, double doors, a little more safety in there, and so now that's something that will be added to that high school list once we get through all this elementary stuff, yes. Because we have, it's safe and secure, our building is, because you have to have a pass to get in at all times, and so, but it just, I think, was cleaning it up just a little bit, so. But I'll look into that, Karen, and see if I can find anything else. Yeah, any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say thank you again, Molly, too, because you heard all that stuff that night and you said, I can find this money, and I know that took a lot of your time, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's really been like the group collectively it's more than, but thank you.
All of you.
okay, last item, because I know everyone's eager to go home. Adopt a resolution to classify the 2017 Suburban and 2005 Caravan as obsolete to replace for bids.
So it's required to actually have the board sign off that you guys consider them obsolete for us to even put them out for bid. We want to put them out for bid to see if they're under the condition that if we don't feel the bid is enough, we don't have to accept the bids. So it's just kind of, tax time, and let's see if we can do something and get a vehicle that could be utilized for more than just one or two things. That could be used for a school bus vehicle, right? You could
Driver's ed.
Driver's ed.
Uh-huh.
So we're trying to combine a whole bunch of vehicles into one vehicle.
So that gives me two questions.
Yes.
I understand that Montana Highway Patrol will not certify those vehicles because of the crash rating. Is that
Correct.
true? What, we cannot use them?
The caravan, yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
It's insane. Suburban's fine though, but it's getting up there.
Yes.
And then speaking of driver's ed, is that happening?
Yes, we are hoping to have driver's ed in April. I have a meeting with Mr. Johnson, who's our driver's ed teacher right now,
Okay.
the beginning of March for us to finalize all of that kind of stuff. But one of the concerns is this vehicle. They've used the Caravan for years, and the safety rating isn't as high as we would like it to be, and there's been some issues that we've had to pay to get it fixed. So that's one of the big reasons we want to look at, could we find something that's more like a Traverse that could still be utilized as a school vehicle, but could also be easier for our driver's ed kid to use and be crash rated appropriately. So we've, Clay and Harry and I have talked to a couple of dealers also to look at like what would trade-in value be on these. So we want to look at what trade-in value would be, what selling them would be, and seeing if it's going to be worth our time. If it's not going to, give us enough money to change that, we can keep these vehicles too. We don't have to get rid of them at this time.
I wonder if we add that for the professional education that they're working on. I know in Missoula they do have some health and auto body. They are a little older, but that's probably a good thing for being able to work on it still without needing a PhD in rocket science.
Yes.
So, all right, I can't make a motion. So, do we have motions to adopt this resolution?
I motion that we adopt a resolution to classify the 2017 Suburban and 2005 Caravan as obsolete to place for bids.
Second.
Okay, that is a mouthful. So, we have a first and second to adopt the resolution to classify the 2017 Suburban and 2005 Caravan as obsolete and take them out for bids. How do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, we had a first and second, so I'm gonna, I'll do this. So, we have a first and second, how do you vote? Aye. Okay. All right, having, no negative votes there, motion carries. Being that's our last agenda item, is there any alibis on anything before we make a motion to shut this down?
I'd like to make one quick statement.
Make it,
I just want to say thanks to everybody that's been behind what we've been trying to do for the last several years. But since we announced that we're trying to run the voted levy, the support of people attending, the support of the staff, the support of everyone, even those that sometimes pick at us, thank you. And thank you to the superintendent, you've done well. I move with adjourn.
having a first and second to adjourn this meeting, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. The next regular board meeting will be March 10th, 2026.